So guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to review another product. Right here we have the Soundpeats Clip 1 wireless earbuds. Now, price tag wise, they're about $69.99. I do have a discount code for anyone that wants to get that percentage off. But let's talk a little bit of specs. Oh, by the way, in the description, timestamps are there. Skip to the part that you want to see. But for the people that want to stay for the full video, let's kind of go over some of the tech specs. So you are getting 12mm drivers. The Bluetooth is going to be 5.4. Up to 40 hours of battery life. So it will vary. If you're talking on a headset or listening to it, you get 32 hours inside the case worth of charge, and you get 8 hours of listening time up in the buds themselves, which is a total of 40 hours. They are IPX5. So if you're in a rain or if you're jogging or sweating and things like that, then you should be protected. They also have a drainage feature in the settings, which I'll show you in the app, that allows the earbuds to kind of like drip the liquid out, which is a pretty cool feature. Most headphones don't really offer that type of thing. You also have Multipoint, which is cool. I love Multipoint. I use it with my Steam Deck mostly, and of course my actual personal handheld device, my cell phone. On top of that, you have a dedicated gaming mode, you have a dedicated movie mode, and you have a dedicated listening mode, which is with Dolby Audio. You even have something called a dynamic EQ, which is really, really cool. My suggestion is to turn that on immediately when you first get the device, because it's going to completely change your listening experience. You are able to also turn off the touch controls or customize the touch controls. So again, there's a bunch of different features for this headset. We're going to go over all that stuff in this review. Stay tuned for that. So let's get right into it and talk about why I do suggest them and why you may or may not purchase them by the end of this video. So the process of syncing the buds is very simple. It never really changes, but for people that don't know, let me show you real fast. So when you first open up the case, the buds are going to automatically go into pairing mode for a brand new user. If this doesn't happen, see this button on the back right here? You just hold it for a couple seconds. I want to show you. And when it starts blinking, boom, the headphones are automatically put in pairing mode, just in case they don't pair automatically. So from there, you just go to the settings. You go to Bluetooth right here, and I'm going to wait for it to just kind of search it. It should pop up eventually. Here we go. Soundpeats Clip 1. You tap that, whatever Bluetooth device you're using, you allow pair, and you're good to go. Now, what also is interesting about these buds is that if someone calls you, it'll actually tell you, it'll say like incoming call. It'll actually let you know that you have an incoming call. It won't say the name of the person, but it'll pause your music or whatever it is that you're doing and just let you know that a call is coming in, which I do appreciate, because there are times where I just have music playing in my background. I don't even realize there's a phone call with other earbuds, but this one does a good job of that. Now, there's a secondary thing. What's it called? Multipoint. There we go. So in order for Multipoint to work, we're going to repeat the same step. But what we're going to do is we turn off the Bluetooth of whatever device it is that you're using. You are going to go ahead and then open up the case again, hold this button, and when it's blinking again, you can sync it to a secondary device. Once that happens, you can multi-point and switch between devices without a problem. It's actually pretty good. I normally keep this hooked up between my Steam Deck and my primary phone, but for review purposes, I'm just showing you guys how to sync it before I put it back onto my regular devices. So with that being said, just follow these instructions. You should have no problem actually syncing your device. So I do find these headphones to be very comfortable, but it can be one drawback for people that are using them. This part right here, you do feel this pinch the back of the ear at times, depending on what it is that you're doing. It doesn't hurt at all. It doesn't cause any like nerve damage or anything like that. So don't worry. I was able to wear these for hours upon hours up until when the battery life actually died. And I honestly didn't really notice that they were in my ear like that. Now, this is a little bit tighter than the previous model, which was the Clip Pearl Pros. Those were way too loose. I think that Soundpeats did a really good job of making these much more secure inside of the ear, so that way you get the most experience when it comes to listening to the music. So as you see right here, how the microphone isn't really moving inside of the ear, that's a good thing, because this part is the one that can slide up and down behind your ear to adjust it to make it more comfortable, while the microphones sit in the same spot, so you'll get that clarity that you're supposed to, so it doesn't feel like the music is dipping in and out. With the quality of sound. So the left side and the right side will feel even inside of your ears as you walk around and just use them for listening and talking. But yeah, but outside of that, they are very, very comfortable. They're very flexible. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you right here. These are flexible. Obviously, you don't want to bend them too much because there's a wire going through them. But yeah, just everyday usage. As soon as you pop them inside of your ear, they might feel a tad bit tighter than some of the other clip earbuds that you may have used in the past. But for me, I got used to them within minutes, and I actually find them to be one of my favorite pair of clips, to be honest, because it's not about price, it's about performance, and these do a really good job overall. So I do think that the sound profile for these earbuds is actually very good. Now, what I did to make it sound better was initially when I first opened up the box, I listened to the earbuds. I'm like, oh, they're okay. I opened up the Soundpeats application. It's a black application with an S. There's two of them. There's a blue one, there's a black one. Download the black one. What I suggest everyone do is turn on Dolby Audio and turn on dynamic EQ. What that does is it actually enhances what the earbuds are already capable of doing, and it sounds dramatically different, at least in my experience of just testing them out every day. Now, how good do they sound? Because I have them connected to Multipoint, I leave the Dolby Audio on and I leave the dynamic EQ on instead of LDAC. LDAC sounds perfectly fine, but I'm more interested in the Multipoint connection of switching them between multiple devices. So I sacrifice the LDAC. I'm not really concerned about that, but it is there for the person that wants to use it, and it is clean and concise. So when it comes to the vocals, sounds great. I haven't had any issues with any breakage when it comes to the artist yelling or screaming, the instruments playing in the background, the guitars. For example, I listen to Thunderstick. I listen to The Jack. These are AC/DC songs, in case you're wondering. Hell's Bells, Back in Black, and I forgot what the one song was called, but Let There Be Rock. There we go. And let me tell you something. It sounds really good in this headset. When you go between like 80 to 90%, you do notice that the bass kind of stretches a little bit because I'm not going to say it struggles, but you can tell at the higher octave, the performance dips just a little bit, but not enough where you're going to think that the headset isn't worth using. I love it. I love the way it fits and feels. It's really good. It's not super bass heavy, and that's the issue that I think that some people are going to have, especially if you're big into rock music. Me personally, I have clips and I have also Soundpeats or other brands of earbuds that go directly into the ear for different reasons. When I want to block out the world with noise cancellation and stuff, I use those. But when it comes to everyday just walking and talking, I use these when I'm at work, when I do recordings in general, if I'm listening to content on my computer while doing edits. The clips are just ideal for me because it's like you're wearing nothing at all. So even though the sound may not be as high end as their premium buds that they have, like the Capsule 3 Pro Plus, I believe that's what they're called, these still sound good in their own right. I don't think you're going to complain or have any issues with the quality of sound. And again, I'm listening to what I call emo rap, not Tekashi 69, what's the guy's name? Trippie Redd and Tentacion. I don't want to say the name of the song because YouTube might flag me, but outside, it just sounds good. I don't have an issue with any of the performance when it comes to the quality of sound. Can it be better? Sure, it can be, but you're going to end up paying substantially more for a better quality sound, which I do think that Soundpeats is probably going to eventually release a headset that's more expensive. That's a clip pair. I look forward to that one if they do. But this is good enough. It's affordable. It works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And guess what? It ain't broke. I like the way they sound. So this is going to be the level of sound quality that you're going to get with the microphones if you're having a phone conversation or if you decide to just use them for regular recordings and whatnot. I am in a quiet, controlled area where there's no wind blowing in the background. I just wanted you to get a sample of how good or how bad the microphones sound. I'm going to leave that up to you, the general public, who decide this is something that you prefer, but for me, it works pretty well.
This right here is going to be a sound sample of buds. Currently talking on them, headed to work near 6th Terminal outside. I want to kind of give you an idea of how it's going to be with a lot of background noise going on. So there is like 4 lanes of traffic. And if you're hearing any wind blowing, or if you're hearing the cars in the background, I just want you to use it as a sound sample if you decide to actually talk with these outside in intimate weather where all the elements interfere with the microphones.
So this right here is the Soundpeats application. Once you sign into it through email, it is absolutely free. And I talked about this earlier, but there's 2 Soundpeats applications. One is blue, one is black. You're going to want to download the black one because that shows this setup that I'm showing you guys right here. So you'll be greeted to the battery life of the buds itself. It shows the battery life of the case and the buds. Not the numeral amount, but basically a bar similar to like your cell phone if you have that. So you should be used to it. Now, as you scroll down, it'll say Dolby Audio. You have the option to turn that on and off. You have music mode, which is what I normally keep it on. Movie mode just changes and enhances the sound based on the movie experience. But if you choose not to switch it, it's no big deal. My suggestion is to toggle it on to see what you like personally. But if you're a person where you just want to buy the earbuds outside the box, use it as is, and just be done with it, then my suggestion is to just leave it on music mode. You do have the option for multipoint. That's going to be turned on automatically when you first sign into this. If you use LDEC at the bottom, it will turn off your multipoint and some of the other functionality of the earbuds like dynamic EQ. But if you leave that off, you do have the option to toggle things on. Personally, I leave mine on Dolby Audio and dynamic EQ because it does enhance the experience of my listening experience, and that's what I personally prefer. You do have a EQ. We'll talk about that in a moment. You have disable touch. You can toggle that on and off. I normally leave it on so I don't do any accidental presses, but you do have the option to like double tap and hold and things like that if that's what you want to do. In-ear detection, I personally leave that on. What happens is, let's say you're watching a video or you're watching a movie or just listening to music or something. When you take the earbud out of your ear, just one earbud out, it'll automatically pause the music for you. And when you place it back on your ear, it'll start resuming the music. Now, if you don't put it back in within a certain amount of time, sometimes the in-ear detection won't necessarily pick up to resume what it is that you're doing, and you'll just have to press play. But that's with any headset, so don't think of it as being a bad thing. I actually use it all the time. If someone's talking to me, I take it out. That person can hear me. I'll have a conversation with them. My music is paused, and then when we're done the conversation, I place it back on my ear, and I'm good to go. It resumes exactly what I need to do. The gaming mode is for lag latency. So if you're playing games like Call of Duty Mobile or Genshin Impact or something like that, you want to make sure that you get the best experience. So when you shoot, you actually hear the sound the moment you press the shooting button. Now, again, I did use this dedicated mode. It worked perfectly fine. But personally, I don't really use gaming mode. I just use the headset as is in Dolby Digital and Dynamic EQ. And the headset is good enough where I still had no issues with lag latency whatsoever. So while you can use a gaming mode, I don't personally use it, and it still performs just fine. So, don't worry about that one. You do have this option for custom keys. So you have double clicks, you have triple clicks. Now, if you tap double click it says left side, right ear, left ear, you're going to get the same options here, which is volume up, volume down, pause and play, game mode, previous track, next track, voice assistant. It's going to be the same with the right-hand side. With triple click, same thing. And triple click right side, same thing. So it doesn't have all of the functionality like one tap. Well, one taps and stuff will be different for like answering calls and things like that. But when it comes to the operations of how to change some of the settings, whether it's volume up, volume down, pausing, you do have to kind of get used to the double taps and triple taps. Again, I don't use touch controls like that. So for me, it's not really, I like the customization option that is available, but I prefer just picking up my phone or using my watch and just having things navigate that way. It's much easier. I think most people are probably going to end up doing that. On the bottom of the screen right here, where you see this little, in the middle next to this little house, this is where the equalizers are. So I'm going to give it, it loaded. So that's a good thing. You have presets right here. I'm going to press more. These are the presets that this comes with. You have the classical, book whisper, folk, electronic, rock, pop, bass boost, Soundpeats classic. You have the option to change it whatever you want. If you're looking for the most rumble, you're going to use bass boost. I personally just leave it on Soundpeats classic. I'm perfectly fine with that. But my suggestion is to test the sound out to figure out what it is that you prefer. Because some people are really music lovers, so they like changing things up a particular way. And I totally understand that. So with that being said, you do have the option for my EQ. So I'm going to go ahead and tap that. And as you can see, I can basically switch this up to whatever it is that I want to and customize the EQ. Now, again, personally, I don't use the custom EQ. I normally just use the Soundpeats Classic. That's good enough for me. For you, my suggestion is to try out what you prefer. And we do have this option over here with the little man on the right-hand side next to the equalizer where it just shows you the user manuals. It actually shows you the user manuals of all of their products because, a lot of times these manuals don't come inside the box. So they still want you to have the option to be able to figure out what does what without guessing. And of course, videos like mine are also to help you with that, but it's nice to have this also in the settings right here. Now, I do want to go back to the main menu. And you see this on the top right-hand corner, there's 3 lines right here. This brings you down to some features that I think are pretty interesting. You have a drainage function feature where I'm assuming that works based on, because it does have an IP rating for water and sweat and things like that. When you tap it, you're going to hear this mechanical noise. It seems like it's actually pushing water out or like just pushing the water out of the headset. If you end up in a scenario where the headset gets wet, you have fine earbuds right here. As a matter of fact, it actually works with an entire map. Now, it'll show your actual location of where the buds are, Keep in mind, you have to be in the vicinity in order to find them. And if you tap left or right bud, it'll make a light ringing noise so that you can hear it. But if you're in a crowded area, even if you just have a TV on in your house, it's a possibility that you won't really be able to hear it because it's not a super, super loud noise. But if it's a quiet, controlled area, you should be able to find your earbuds without a problem in that regard. Do you have the option for resetting the buds from inside the app itself if you have any issues? You have the firmware upgrade, which mine is already updated. They'll probably give you for future updates later on, but for right now, it's good to go. My suggestion, though, is to update the earbuds the moment you get them. I think there was an update. I'm not sure. I don't really remember, but make sure you do that so you can, take advantage of all the features. So with that being said, the application is very simple to use. It's pretty self-explanatory, but if anyone feels a little intimidated, just go to this section of the video, app features, and just, follow me and I'll walk you through it and just listen to my beautiful voice. Anyway, let's move forward. So to answer the question whether these headphones right here are worth it, there's a couple things that we need to address. So let's kind of go over the specs real fast and then I'll close out this video. You get 40 hours of battery life. 8 inside the buds themselves, 32 inside the case. You do have Multipoint, which is really great. You have Dolby Audio, you have a movie mode, you have a music mode, you have a gaming mode. You have LDAC if you choose to use that. You have a drainage feature inside the earbuds. They're Bluetooth 5.4, IPX5 rated. They're good. They even have an application that allows you to customize the software and even use custom EQs and things like that. So what's the negatives that I speak about? Well, the microphones aren't the greatest microphones, but they still work just fine. If I put a hoodie on or a winter hat when I'm outside and wind's blowing, my wife can hear me just fine. They work well. They feel good inside of the ears. But the $69.99 price tag is a hard sell in my opinion. Why? Because you have other brands out there. If you go into Amazon, you type in Bluetooth earbud clips, you're going to see Tozos. You're going to see J-Labs. You're going to see other Soundpeats options, as a matter of fact. You're even going to see the C50Is for, Soundcore and stuff. And a lot of people are going to look at these and say, why should I pay more money for these instead of those? Now, to answer that question, again, dynamic EQ and a bunch of other settings, I think that this is a good headset and it outperforms a lot of the brands that I mentioned. Not necessarily certain models, but, for $70, some people will pay $30 for a headset and be perfectly fine with that because they're clips. You're getting closer to higher end prices when you charge $70, $80. People look at that as $100. So again, I'm not part of a marketing team. I'm not going to tell you to buy these. I think they're good. I think they are worth purchasing. I love the sound. This is my primary clip earbuds. I plan on trying the C50Is a little bit later in like a month or two, but I like this. I gave my wife the Aerial clips. I kept these. These sound great. They feel good. I don't have any distortion really issues. Nothing really. Nothing bad to say, except in a market that's oversaturated with so many earbuds, it's hard to convince people to get something like this, even with a discount code. It's hard to say that when, times people can't really afford things, money is tight. You want to make sure that you get the right product for you. So what my suggestion is, even though I do suggest these very highly, my suggestion is to watch other people's reviews of these exact buds. If it's the 12th, you're watching this video, and there are going to be a bunch of different people that got these as samples and are going to do their own review. Check them out. Listen to the frequency, the microphones, their tests, different things. Compare that to my video, to other videos, and make sure you make an informed decision because your money is your money and you should spend it the best way possible for you. So again, I like these. I love them. I didn't pay for them. They were sent to me. But even if I didn't pay for them, this is something that I would consider buying. But again, depending on what your budget is, there are cheaper options out there and you may go with something else. So just kind of keep that in mind. Shop around always. But again, watch the other reviews and let people kind of give you an idea of how they feel about it. And maybe that'll reinforce your decision to actually purchase them. But anyway, like and subscribe like always. I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care. Peace. God bless. Oh, we get a peace sign. Peace. God bless. I'm out.